Also missing, free to travel around Australia, of course, because of their visas, but still an embarrassment for the teams and for the Commonwealth Games Federation. These are stories they do not want to be talking about, especially on a day like today when they've just spent the last hour or so trying to promote the Games, trying to promote the area. Let's go and have a quick look around. Kate Jones here is the MP for Queensland, MP in Queensland, and the Minister for the Commonwealth Games. Yeah, thanks for joining us on BBC World News. How do you think these games have gone so far? Still a couple of days to go. Good or bad?
Oh, fantastic. And, you know, this is the first time that we've hosted a Commonwealth Games in a regional city in Australia, so it's been transformative for the Gold Coast. But, of course, the Gold Coast is also a tourism town, so they're used to rolling out the red carpet and welcoming millions of people to the city every year. And
that seems to me, unashamedly, to be one of the prime objectives of this Games, is actually to promote the area to the world so people come and fill the hotel rooms here.
Absolutely. We've decided, and we've worked very closely with the Commonwealth Games Federation internationally, to have the largest trade and investment program. So we've had thousands of delegates from right across the world coming to talk about innovation, agri-technology, tourism, all the opportunities across the Commonwealth to grow those global links.
So it's not just about the sport for you at all?
Not at all, and I think for governments, we've invested billions of dollars in having the Commonwealth Games here, and including long-term infrastructure. So we need to get bang for our buck, and we think that there is a huge opportunity globally today to grow on those links with the Commonwealth nations and territories.
It's interesting, isn't it, how sport has changed over the years. Sport used to be about just winning or losing, but now sport is about culture, it is about business as well.
Absolutely, and there's a unique opportunity to, when you're hosting an event of this size, to build on those trade and investment links. We've got some of the fastest growing economies in the world as part of the Commonwealth, India, Singapore, Malaysia. So it's a really exciting time for Queensland to shine on a global stage.
Would you consider hosting other big multi-sport events here, or other big sporting events off the back of this?
Absolutely. One of the key drivers for me as the Minister is to secure more international events to the Gold Coast and to Queensland.
Have you got any in mind?
Well, at the moment, we're going with the Sports Accord next week in Bangkok, and we're hoping to secure international athletics and any gymnastics, any of those international competitions, because for the very first time we have world-class venues that we just wouldn't have had without the Commonwealth Games.
That's very interesting, Kate. Thanks for joining us live on BBC World News. But why on earth would you want to come here when you've got these creatures in town? My goodness me. We've got some Lesotho athletes here, some boxers joining us as well. You're boxers, guys. What are you afraid of?
Yeah.
What are you afraid of?
Pop your finger out.
Yeah, pop your finger out. Look at this guy.
Here we go. Nice and
so
gentle.
these...
Pretend you're a tree. Just pretend you're a tree.
This is Wildlife Al. He's the expert.
How you going, guys?
What are you doing here?
So we were down here doing a launch of Dreamworld. It's giving free entry to all the athletes, and so we're encouraging them and the volunteers to come to Dreamworld and meet our wildlife. This is a rough-scale python. It's a rare and endangered animal. Only 8 of these snakes have ever been found in the wild. And the 8th person happened to be a woman, and it happened to be my wife named Peggy. So this snake's called Peggy.
Whoa, look at that.
So meet Peggy, everyone.
Hi, Peggy.
Peggy.
You two guys, you've been competing at the Games?
Yeah, we've been competing.
How have you found it? I'm sort of standing like this rather awkwardly because there's a rough-scale python just there. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, we've enjoyed it.
What's been the best thing for you about these Games?
Being competing
with the world's best. Yeah. Not hanging out with a rough-scale python. Wildlife Out.
You're being tough, asking questions with a python hanging around.
Oh, I love it. Look at these guys. Look, I want to say something in all seriousness. Snakes get a bad press.
They do.
They don't want to hurt you, and they're lovely fellas. Look at that. Live on BBC World News. Hello. We got to go, Tolson. I've made a new friend called Peggy. Hello, Peggy, darling. Oh,
Chris Mitchell, wonderful news indeed. Glad to see you've made a new friend. At least you've got one. And one of the big names in the Europa League has failed to qualify for the semi-finals after Lazio went out to Austrians Salzburg, who won 6-5 on aggregate, having won the opening leg 4-2 in Italy last